Welcome to another episode of Harmony and Hustlin'. I'm your host, Delu, aka StarGurl, and today's guest is a true double threat, more like triple threat, entrepreneur and musician about building dreams with heart, hustle, and the American dream. And maybe there is a little bit of history between the host and the guest. Today's guest is the founder of Live for Bikes in Downey. He took a post college vision and built it into two successful shops, all while staying connected to his creative roots. This one's going to be a good one. Let's take a ride with the one and only Trytone, aka Charlie the Trytone. Woo!
Thank you.
Woo! It's okay. We don't clap anymore, baby. Oh, and he brought his baby with him.
Yeah, this is Cosmo. Weird. He's my shadow. Come over here, guys. Get over here. Sit down.
You know this is a live podcast when you got a doggy barking. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
That's good. That's good. It's good to see you. I'm doing good too, by the way. No, let's kick it off with some questions. So, you went karaoke the other night. How was it?
It was good. It was fun. Yeah.
That's good. Where'd you go?
To I don't know. You remind me of the name. I don't know the name.
Powwow.
Powwow. Yeah, in Downey.
Always a rad place.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's funny because this is how this all started because of karaoke. I think karaoke is such a huge community where you could meet. I've met a lot of musicians through it, and I've met a lot of people, and I'm sure you guys had a great time.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Real fun.
Okay, well, let's get into the entrepreneurship journey. What inspired you to start a bike business, and what made you believe that it could really work?
So I think the way that the bike business started for me was really just out of necessity. I went to school for music education, and when I was doing my student teaching, I just realized that it wasn't for me. And my dad at the same time was like, "Hey, you're 27. Like, what's going on? What are you doing with your life?" And so I dropped out of college, and
there's some 40-somethings that don't got it together. So kudos
right.
to you.
And so what happened was a friend of mine was moving. He had given me a bike that he had just tossed away. I left it in the backyard, and then an uncle of mine saw it. He's like, "Hey, I'll trade you that bike for two other ones that I have." I put those two bikes on Craigslist, and they sold within like 15 minutes. And I was getting calls and calls for those bikes. And I put them for like $25. And this was around 2009. This is right before the fixie boom. And so I started the business really out of necessity because I needed to, start doing something with my life, try to move out of my parents' house, make some money. My dream was to be a professional musician, a saxophone player. But I found out really, really fast that I just wasn't good enough because, being from LA, you have to be the best of the best to try to make this your profession. Horn jobs are very few, and I mean, they go to the better players, and that just wasn't me.
At that time, though, respectfully.
Yeah, at that time, right. Yeah, right.
At that time.
Yeah, I spent, many years now practicing and perfecting the craft and practicing.
Right.
Never gave up on that dream. And, and then so it just snowballed. I started selling bikes out of the backyard of my mom's house. And it snowballed. Yeah, I did that for about a year. And as the backyard started getting real full of bikes, inventory that I was, buying and investing back into, or getting the profits, investing back into the business.
Started to see a little flow there.
Yeah, I started getting a little bit worried because it was a backyard and there was no security. It was just a backyard. So right around the same time, like around maybe early 2010, the city kind of got wind that I was doing that, and they came in. They're like, "Hey, you can't do this."
How did they get wind? How many bikes did you have?
Well, yeah, I had probably in the backyard, maybe around like maybe 30 to 40 maybe at one time, and they were all used and stuff, and it was pretty crowded back there, and I had a canopy because during rainy season, like they would get wet and stuff. So
gotta protect your inventory.
Yeah, so it was interesting to work out of there, and then so it was just it's just out of again just necessity to try to do something with my life. And I've been doing the bike shop for now about 15 years, and I love it.
You saw those dollar signs, it's like hey, this works. This is not, it's low, I guess, maintenance for inventory, right? You don't have to change seasons like retail, and things don't really expire. So it's kind of great inventory to have.
Well, yes and no. I mean, the inventory does, does not expire. You're right about that. Right about that. But then, what happens is, as I'm in the business, I learned that there's definitely slow seasons. Like right now, it's October, and this is our slowest
It
time of the
starts
year.
to slow
Yeah,
down.
because people, they got back to school. The weather's changing. We live in Southern California, and people in Southern California are very spoiled. If it's not 70 and sunny, nobody's riding their bike. It's just not. Yeah, it's not. It's not. It's
I'm
not.
a customer of yours, and I don't have a car, so I ride,
Yeah,
I, I
yeah,
ride my bike.
right. And then,
But I
but
get what you're saying.
yeah,
Majority of people,
yeah,
they
because
have
you have to,
cars.
right? You have to, yeah. If you're doing it for leisure, and if it's like 69 degrees and it's not sunny, you're not going.
So if you don't have a car out there, ladies and gentlemen, and you need bike repair, come see him. We'll plug him in a bit. But
Yeah.
so, what was the biggest lesson you learned from opening your first location? Like, how did you do that in the early days after the city cracked down on you?
Um, Biggest lesson in the beginning, um, was kind of just trusting your own instincts with when it comes to your business. There's a lot of times because I went to school for music. I don't have any kind of business training. There's a lot of people that want to give you advice. And I read a book called I think Rich Dad Poor Dad, where he says,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe somewhere else I read that quote, but it says, the most expensive advice is free advice. So
Free
it's
game.
yeah,
Free game.
so it's essentially is don't take advice from people that don't have a business, because why would they give somebody advice if they've never ran a business?
That is a true statement. You have people that give parenting advice all the time, and you're like, how many kids you have? They're like zero. And you're like, okay. But yeah, that's so true. And a lot of people give you sucky advice because they don't want to see you succeed.
Maybe, yeah. I think though in most cases, if they're your friend or your family, they are genuinely trying to help you out, but
And
they
they
just don't
think
have,
they're
yeah.
right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, they're just not qualified. So
Yeah.
you know,
That's true. That
yeah.
makes sense.
And then the as you progress in the business, different lessons happen for sure.
So opening your first location, how was that? Like, how did that come to be? Like, you're like, okay, I got to get out of this backyard already because it
Yeah,
risks theft.
yeah,
It risks the city being on my ass and
yeah.
finding my parents. And you're starting to see it grow.
Right. Yeah. So it was quite easy. I had saw a for lease sign just maybe about a mile or two from my mom's house where I was staying at, and I just approached them and say, "Hey, I'm trying to open up a bike shop." They came over. It was a board there. It's called the Rosewood Land Company, where our property and our bike shop's at. So
Mm-hmm.
the board came over. It was about 5 or 6 of them, and they just kind of inspected the whole situation. They're like, "Oh yeah, this kind of guy is kind of, he kind of has a bike shop back there." They saw that, and then they had me sign a personal guarantee that I would pay the rent in case something happened. So then I was lie
That's
on the
like a
hook for.
lease, child. You
Yeah, I was on the
gotta,
hook for the whole lease for, yeah. I think it was a year the first time.
oh, that's not bad because
Yeah,
it's like your first apartment,
yeah,
except it's your business.
yeah. And then I had told them that I did some music at USC, and there was I think it was a couple or one lady that was a USC grad as well. So they kind of hooked it up because I had some
Oh,
ties to
because you
USC.
had that USC clout. So I
Yeah,
mean, you didn't go to school for business, but you went to a school with high acumen. So a lot of people that go through school and rigorous schooling, such as USC, I mean, you don't really need a business degree because you did get a higher level of education. Whereas people come to this country with hardly any
yeah.
education, drop out of college, and look,
Yeah, so the college experience, no matter where you go to school at, is important because you learn a bunch of different subjects. Like in psychology, you learn about sales, what they use to entice
you learn
people with
about chicks and
and like how colors, and we were talking about logos. There's definitely a lot of psychology involved with logos,
yeah,
the colors you use in your
yeah.
business, advertising techniques. So yeah, so college gives you a wide kind of general education, which you could apply for to a lot of different things in life. So yeah, they kind of a lot of people, that in those institutions have figured that out. Yeah, and then those general classes do help you out to run a business. But then there was a lot of uh, personal or just specific lessons or information that I didn't know in the beginning that as a business you kind of need to know. And I made some like really expensive mistakes. I made some mistakes that cost me like 40 grand that I
I
had to
mean,
pay.
people make mistakes, especially if you're trusting your own gut. Sometimes you do need to take advice because then you look back and be like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
I could have done that differently." But then it's always a lesson, whether it's a costly lesson or not. The costly ones will you'll never
All right.
forget.
Yeah, that mistake that I did, I was never gonna do it
Yeah, you're
again
never
ever.
gonna do it again.
Yeah.
So it's kind of good because then now, now fast forward, that mistake could be like really detrimental.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So, what inspired you to open a second location, and then I'll let you talk about the second location because I know you've moved that location online. So I'll let you talk a little bit about that.
So yeah, so just like any other business, once you're in it for a while, it was running successfully. You kind of, for me, it was like I want to see it grow, and I kind of just like kind of need another challenge. I'm getting a little bit bored. I need something else to do. So and then you want to see again just growth, and you want to start making more money. So second location makes a lot of sense for for some businesses. In this case, what kind of slowed us down and since the opening of the other one, we already closed it. So right, we're back down to one location, and we're to just online, like you suggested, you said previously. And one of the things that slowed us down initially was just like the ability to find quality workers that have the skill to fix bikes. Like that's been super challenging. Like yeah, a
Interesting.
lot of the typically they're younger people that are into bikes that want to work at a bike shop, and and then it's what makes that's traditionally who you hire, and they don't. I mean, the age doesn't really matter, but that's who typically are bicycle mechanics. But now, no, like it doesn't matter what age. It's just finding bicycle mechanics in general, or it's just super hard to find.
Yeah.
So and then so.
What do
Uh,
you use YouTube videos to train them?
Well, no, like to train them in the store, you just kind of it's always hands on now, so it's way
Yeah.
different. So there's a couple of young kids that kind of internship with me, and they come in and it's all hands on. So everything's hands on. I do tell them I always suggest YouTube. I tell everybody
Yeah.
that I went to YouTube University too. That's where because that's where you learn everything.
And then it's like you're giving back to the community with internships, with
Yeah.
hiring local people, but also showing them like the tools, whether it's hands-on, YouTube, like you could learn for yourself. I think what happens is we get lost that in all this social media and all this stuff and technology, and then we're like, we can actually learn something, not just laugh at people fall all day.
Right. And so one of my guys, he's I'm very proud of him. His name is Andrew. He started with me. He was like 16. He then since graduated high school. Now he's at a city college studying to be a welder. And I think it's the best thing ever because welding right now,
Yeah,
it's
they're
a
making
blue collar work and it's going to
money.
be in high demand. It's probably a
Yeah.
job that not a lot of people want to get into.
Yeah.
It's going to be lucrative for him, and also it's not a job that AI is going to take over right away. Yeah.
I
So
don't think AI is going to do any welding unless they make robots that weld,
yeah,
but I don't think they will. It's beneath
maybe I
them.
would say I think that it will happen, but I think we might be just conservatively speaking maybe 30 years away.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't become a megalomania and it actually assists the workers and
Yeah.
not assists the billionaires. But that's another interesting topic for another
Yeah.
podcast episode. So let's get into your musician life because you brought your sax. So we're gonna probably get you up here to do a song. I don't know, with a track or without a track. I think it would be fine without a track. Just to hear a sax on a podcast would be great. But what was your background in music other than your school? Because we talked about USC and you wanted to be a music teacher. But where did it really all start for you?
I guess my first memory of music was just going to a house party, and they had hired a band, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I saw the piano player, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that was even a thing. Like I guess as a kid, you hear music and you don't connect the two, that it was made by a human, right? You just think it comes coming out the speaker. And then so my first time seeing a live band, I was like, I remember vividly, like, oh my god, like that was so cool to hear that sound. I went up to the piano, played a couple notes on it, um, and then that just kind of stayed with me for a long time. Also, like in middle school, I think maybe before that was they had auditions to play violin. They had a little quiz to see who was like better at music, and the better students got the instruments. The ones that didn't do so good, you could still play in the band, but you had to rent your own instrument. And
Ah,
my mom was not able to do that,
yeah.
so I didn't get started with that. But
But it sparked an interest
yeah, for
other
sure.
than those that
Yeah,
didn't even try but
yeah,
thought about it.
yeah. Then another time, there was a like assembly where harpists came to play,
Mm-hmm.
and they asked if somebody wanted to play the harp, and I raised my hand and I got picked, and I was able to play the harp on stage, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like it was this is something again. It was another thing to just that kind of just stuck with me. Like, oh yeah, and I was just
Yeah.
working on the harp.
That's so cool. You're like, I was just.
Yeah.
So, do you remember like the first song or artist, any artist that you looked up to that you were like, dang, Mel, maybe I should like create music? Like any artist that sparked that really into you? Not, not necessarily in childhood, it could be in your adult life, but.
Um, that's a hard question. I don't know. Like a first musician. I mean,
And I know one on the tip of my tongue. I feel like you should say, but.
yeah, I know who you're referring to Michael Brecker, right? Yeah.
Yes.
No, he was later. I learned about him later when I was more in like maybe in high school.
Mm.
In the beginning, I started picking up. I guess in the beginning of high school, um, I don't know. I guess just saxophone players from like big bands because I was playing the horn. I guess it would be like people like Benny Goodwin on clarinet.
Okay.
Maybe like
Drop some names. Drop
yeah.
some names.
Um,
What's his name? Gerald Albright. Come on, hello.
Gerald Albright. No, I probably didn't get to him to maybe college.
Okay.
Maybe Grover Washington, because he
Okay.
was on like on just the two of us,
Mm-hmm.
and he was on a couple of pop tunes. He played yeah.
Is
And
Grover
then
Washington still alive?
no,
He's
he
been
passed.
gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw him play at the Hollywood Bowl. That was pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah, he passed. I think I want to say
the
around
Bowl is
two.
such the best venue we have here, and it's like beautiful just to see anything there.
The Bowl's nice too. The
Agreed.
Disney Hall is not bad either. That's a cool
Yeah,
place.
maybe because I like the outdoor. I don't know. Because I like the creek
Yeah,
and the way you see the mountains and like
yeah.
Cali.
I mean, the Bowl
And
has
we
just
have the weather for it.
yeah, and because it's so historic. I mean, like the
Yeah.
Disney Hall has to catch up 30, 40 years to
Yeah, I remember when
to
that
have
thing was
that
getting
history.
built. I was like, "Ooh, that's an eyesore. What
Yeah,
is that?" Ah. It's like,
yeah,
okay. And then I went inside. I was like, "Oh, this is fucking rat."
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so your creative process, because I also know you produce music. You have your own music out, right? So
Yeah.
what's your creative process in writing or even playing or like composing your music?
So I started out with the big old line of LSD. I'm just
Some cocaine.
kidding.
All right, we're
No, I'm
inspired.
kidding.
Let's
I don't do drugs.
go.
Drugs do me. No, I'm kidding. No, it just depends, right? So songs like have like my best songs have come really like typically from breakups, from
Okay.
just being like kind of emotional and
But
just
what's
come
your
out.
process? Like, do you pick up a guitar first? Do you go straight to the keys and the
It just
piano?
depends on the song. Sometimes I start well because I'm an instrumentalist. Typically, it starts with the instrumental. Yeah, so
Gotcha.
I'll usually produce a song, to something that I like, and then I'll write after that.
Nice.
Yeah, because I once I hear the beat, then I'm like, okay, then I'm more inspired too.
And your music, it's on Apple and is it on Spotify?
Yeah, it's wherever you stream music. Yeah,
Wherever you
yeah,
stream music,
yeah. That's like everybody's music is everywhere.
Trytone with a 3, but we'll
Yeah,
plug it at the end.
yeah.
That's good. Do you have a dream collaboration or either a dream collaboration, dead or alive, or you can answer both, or a dream venue to ever perform at?
Um, I performed actually at the Hollywood Bowl. That was one of my dreams, so I already did that. That was
Wow.
cool. I
Wow.
played with the USC band and the LA
Wow.
Phil at the Shostakovsky's 1812 Overture. Spectacular.
Wow.
My dream collaboration, um, um, I think it was I would have to say maybe Bruno Mars. I'm a big fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like yeah, he's a great musician, great singer.
Songwriter
Yeah,
too.
his singing
Mhm.
too is super high. I always try to sing his songs. He's always singing
Yeah.
just crazy high notes.
Whatever that song goes. You know I don't care for Bruno Mars. Shout out to Bruno Mars if you want to come on the show, but I got some questions for you. It's just I know I guess
Is it about that coke? That coke to charge?
I don't know. I that made me like him more. It's just my genre of music is very different.
Yeah.
So how do you balance both worlds, both your music and your worlds? Like, do they ever overlap? And be honest, because I didn't see you play the saxophone at your place
Yeah.
of business.
So yeah, I have this the struggle always with the business and music because um I think that if I focus more all my energy into the business, my net worth would be triple what it is now. But I've in the beginning when I started my business, I just did bicycle stuff, and I wasn't happy. It was something missing in my life. I was making a ton of money, and had big old stack in my savings. I had a new BMW. It was just like it was great, but there was again something missing. So the way that I balance it now is that I make sure that I take care of the business first because that's what my bread and butter is. I make sure that's always
I mean, all work
priority.
and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yeah,
You gotta keep that music
for
alive.
sure. Yeah. And then I just prioritize my practicing now. So I've been doing it so long now that it's just a routine. Like I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
I go home. I work at the shop. Make sure everything's running great. Everything's all the problems, all the things are taken care of.
Right.
And I'll go home and I'll practice at least a minimum of an hour. Like if I don't practice an hour, then I don't feel right. Like it's
Yeah.
become a habit of mine. So if on a good day I'll practice 3 hours. On my days off I might do 4 hours. So
Do you
part of
ever get an urge? I know earlier we were talking about open mics and sorry to cut you off, but do you ever get an urge to maybe just do an open mic one night?
no, like I feel like I perform like plenty. Like it's like for me like everything's a performance.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm not in the bike shop, like it is music time for me. Like like
I guess I'm trying to like emphasize like the connection or sharing your gift with other people, but you say you perform plenty.
yeah, like like I have plenty of venues to practice, perform. Like I play clarinet at a city college.
Yes.
I could perform like some saxophone stuff there. I typically when there's a party, I either sing some song or karaoke a song, or
So
just
you
bring
do
instruments.
perform. You're like
Yeah,
I get my performance on. That's
yeah. Like
good.
like for me, like again, like the world's a stage. I'll bring my horn anywhere. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever think that being a creative person, like musically creative and other creative endeavors do you think that helps you in your business too?
No, so
Like
like I said
having that
previously, no.
mindset? No.
No, so I think being a musician and being a business is kind of contradictory of each other because practicing takes a lot of time, and like I just said previously, like I think if I focus all my energy just on the business, again my net worth will be about 3 times more than it is now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not what makes me happy. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had to focus on the business because that's what pays my bills, but my true passion is music.
Right.
So
And those kind of ran together. Like, how long have you had your business?
about 15 years now.
Yeah, and then you've been playing a little over. So it's kind of always like a constant
Yeah, I
in
just
your life.
prioritize both of them. Like again, the
Yeah.
business is it's the main focus always.
Well,
Right.
yeah, just like
Yeah.
people, like I have a job, I can't podcast all day. I wish
Yeah.
I could, but
Yeah.
one day that will happen where I
Yeah.
would say
But
snafu and
yeah, but
you
it's
know.
because I do have my own business. Like if it's slow, like I'll take my horn and I'll practice. Like I don't care. Like nobody's gonna tell me nothing. I just
So the
practice.
two can coincide because
Yeah.
it's not a job you're working for.
Right.
You work for yourself. So you're like, if I'm gonna play
Yeah.
my horn, play my horn today.
Yeah. It just sometimes hard because they'll get, we get to have to answer the phones, and it's always something just like.
Always some customer service or some shit.
No, I mean, yeah, it's customer service is like cool, but it's always some like real simple thing that I'm like I have to put my horn down for this question, like.
Ah, so then they kind of don't. You're like, oh, I
Yeah,
was getting in the zone, and
yeah.
now. So we talked a little bit about USC and you being attending there for college. If you could go back to that young guy at USC and say to your college self, what would you say to him? What advice would you tell him?
So first, I want to be clear. I didn't graduate from USC.
That's fine.
Just so
You
everybody knows.
attended. You
Yeah.
you know.
So in the marching band, yeah, and then, so when I was there, I was kind of one of the better players, and being from a low income, like, it was really intimidating.
Being a minority at a
Yeah,
the US
yeah, there was a
USC
lot of cats
college.
there that were, like, parents would just send them checks, and
Yeah,
it
chat.
was my
Of
first time,
course.
it was my first time, like, seeing, you know like the differences in finances, right? I knew I was poor, but I didn't know how poor I was until I was at USC. Like, so, we would play weddings at people's houses, and I was like, what? People live here? Like, what the? It was just super nice houses that just, people could live like that. And so what I would tell myself is just, just kind of like, don't make it a bigger deal than it is. Like, you'll have your piece of the American dream someday.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, back to what I was saying earlier. My friend's dad, he has like $1 million. Their revenue is crazy. He's a short Mexican man or Guatemalan man who came here, and he still doesn't speak English. So I think the thought of just taking a chance on yourself and believing yourself, no matter your height, your race, ethnicity, educational background, I think America kind of shows that to us. And I think we get a little discouraged nowadays in this political climate and AI and all that, but you could still live your creative dream and keep your business afloat. So you're showing people that it's not a far off concept. It's not like, well, 10 years from now, or when I graduate, you didn't graduate and you still were able to make
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm pretty now in retrospect, kind of to the question is I'm kind of still, I'm happy with my decisions because what happened was, some of my friends from SC, some of us that um, didn't rack up like 200,000 in student debt. We're like, yeah, we kind of got the best of both worlds because we experienced what it was to be at a school like USC,
Yeah.
but I didn't rack up $200,000 in debt, and I'm able to buy a house, and I own my house,
Yeah,
and
you've done quite like the American dream minus, all the other frills
yeah,
and stuff. And then you're also keeping your creative side because a lot of times people think like they could look. I know people that look around and they're like, I've got all this and I'm not happy. And then you find your creative spark to bring that fulfillment into your
yeah,
life. So that is absolutely important. No, you shouldn't have worked harder and triple than what you do because sometimes those people look back and they're like, okay, I amassed this, and
right.
you
Yeah,
know,
and then so a couple of things there I think about, like, yeah, like my balance for sure is to be my music outlet. Like, if I'm so fortunate that I get to play my saxophone every single day. Like, I don't know, like, maybe not every single
you
day, but
don't
like,
live in an apartment, you have a home, you
yeah,
could play anytime,
yeah,
any day you want.
yeah,
The
and
privacy is great.
yeah, and the other thing too that that I want to respond to is, yeah, the whole college thing now. It's interesting, right? I don't have any kids, but I don't know that what I would tell my kids about college. I'm like, do you go? Do you not go? Do you pay $200,000 or whatever it is? College costs now, and then maybe graduate and maybe not get a job, because it's taken over by some
Yeah.
AI stuff. Do you go and because I mean that experience was, like, I loved it. It was every single day was cool, and it was super enjoyable. And so I'm torn. I don't know what I would tell my kids.
I think about that too because I do have kids. My kids are brilliant. I love and I love kids, right? And it's crazy because I see them and I tell them they could start a business. I'm actually trying to work with them to start their own channels and a business now. I used to be worried and leery about it, but I've watched enough documentaries, enough things, and you see these kids that are young that are playing with slime and hi, and they're fucking opening toys and shit. And these kids are millionaires.
Yeah.
They've made their parents millionaires at 6 years old. They've got products that are named after them. So this is a different time than when you and I grew up, and it was like house, college, work, house, blah blah. Now we're seeing that it's not that right now. Like, hey, take that paper, ball it up, throw it, because and now that they have like the AI cartoons, or you could construct your own cartoons, and it doesn't necessarily have to be my kids' faces. I kind of am encouraging them start a channel 5-10 years from now. And if you do want to go to college or travel the world, you might just have the money to do that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, for sure. Because Mr. Beast talks about that too. Like, that was his thing. Like, all he talked about was
then brands are shifting. It's not about TV anymore. So the brands, they want to plug. Shout out to the brands. Reach out to us.
Yeah, but I have been seeing some of my creators like Davey 504, Rick Beato, and just a few other YouTube creators that are kind of complaining just a lot about YouTube. I know this is where this gets aired at, but
well, one of the platforms, I also have a TikTok. I tell people to expand. TikTok right now is kind of like a place to be for creators, but you will always have people, because I see TikTok creators too, that they'll flag them for nudity and the girl's putting on makeup and a tank top, or they'll flag them. You'll always have haters. You'll always have people that will not agree with you, that will flag you, that will try to slow you down.
So the other side of the argument is TikTok is kind of in the process. I don't know where exactly it's at the moment, but it's getting sold to the guy from what's that company? I can't think of it right now. Oracle.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's Oracle. Yeah,
Oracle, who does the computer stuff.
Yeah, like I think the cat computing. So that's that's getting shipped over. But so I guess the lesson there is just kind of like you saying, kind of diversify your content, because you just never know.
It's great. I was creating shorts today on my Instagram, creating shorts on my TikTok, creating shorts for different things. And I just really started doing this 2.5 seconds ago. But I believe in consistency, and I believe that there's other platforms. Just when they shut down TikTok, people went to Red Note. I went to Red Note. It's in Chinese. Everyone went there, and it was a place to be. You can't really stop the movement of people, especially these young people nowadays. And that's the research I saw. I saw kids and families be family together and film this content. And the next thing you know, 4 years down the line, they've got millions of followers, all these endorsements, all these sponsors. And you're like, what the hell am I doing wrong? But you see, I've seen them, like the content creators you talk about, you see them develop, and you're like we're going to take a stab at it, because why not, Yeah, it's worth a shot. But yeah, I'm glad we got into that, because a lot of times people want to just say, like you said, how would I tell my kids about college? Like, who do I tell them to go? And I also kind of struggle with that too. I always want them to be their own entrepreneurs, but college, even for me, kind of like made you focus.
Yeah, and then so for me, I didn't really mention this yet, but that's where I met my business partner at the time to help me start the business, to start the bike shop.
The networking.
Yeah, and without him, I wouldn't have been able to start it. I since bought him out like very early in the business, but yeah, like I couldn't have done it without college and without going there. So
the networking, the tools, the people you meet, that is also a great point.
Yeah,
great factor in that, because you'll lose that if you don't be with someone that could back you or support.
Yeah, in the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he talks about one of the lessons in there that says that poor people never go to school.
Yeah.
Middle class people go to school to get a better job, and rich people go to school to network.
Yeah. Basically, I've met a lot of people in school, I've met people. I mean, I went to nursing school, and now a lot of them started their own business. A lot of them are content creators. A lot of them are photographers, and went. Yeah, I guess they took their nursing, was like, this isn't for me, and they went another way
Yeah.
or used it to support their dream. But if your life had a soundtrack, what song would it be playing during the hustle? What song? Let's say you're at work, you're fixing bikes, or you're dealing with customers. What
That
song?
that hey dirty hey, bitch better have my money.
Shout out
No,
to
oh dirty bastard. No,
yeah,
no.
shout out to Rest in Peace.
No, it would be a jazz tune. I really like. I think the um one of my favorite songs. I think it's a song by Arturo Sandoval. It's called "De Mis Abuelos." It's a Latin jazz tune. Yeah, Arturo Sandoval is one of the greatest musicians of all time. He's just like for world class musician. Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs ever. I think that
Nice.
would be the
You should travel more, man. I think you should. You've got the digs to do it, and you might get picked up playing with some of
yeah.
these guys. Just take the dog, pack them up, head overseas. I'm just kidding. So what's next? And this is like my last question. Oh wait, one of them. What's next? What are you dreaming about now? Even if it feels risky, how big do you want to take the hustle? And there's three or more. It's October. The veil is thin. We manifest here. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do next?
I think like I wanna make I feel like music my full time career. It's a challenging feat because again a lot of of my friends that have been doing it for a while they're like it's vice versa.
I want to stop you there
Yeah.
because I don't I want to. I used to say I want to start my YouTube channel, but it's saturated with
Yeah.
all these people. I want you to talk about what Charlie wants because you've got friends they
Right.
didn't make it, but they're not you. So I want you to let's redo this question. I want you to really say what you've always in the
Right.
shower are dreaming about in your life.
Yeah, I guess the next chapter of my life would just be to play saxophone music full time.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. You got the chops. You practice all the time. You're open to learning from other people. You're open. You're open to possibly, if you want to travel, take some time off, and go see. Oh my gosh! I saw on Instagram this musician's gonna be here. Maybe I can jam with them. You never know. And putting yourself out there is the greatest way to find out. To fuck around and find out, right?
Yeah.
You gotta bet on yourself. Like I always, because I'm black, I always say I bet on black because that's me. That's my new motto now. You've got to bet on yourself. Who cares? So, people, oh, they're going to do this. I want to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe they don't have the chops or maybe they don't have the same work ethic as you. Because you'll hear it from like, I think it was an artist, Cardi B, and they're like, oh, your album went up. But she's like, nobody works like me. A lot of people have the talent, the skill. She has the talent, skill. But you have to have that work ethic. So I think that might be a thing that would set you apart. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Not just talent, because you can learn things, but some people just give up and they just suck at work,
Yeah.
putting the work in. So what's one thing people don't know about you, but should know about you? Should.
That
No.
that I'm single, ready to mingle.
Woo! You heard it right here. Single and ready to mingle. He's gonna play your panties off of the sax. Ladies. Well, that was another cool episode of Harmony and Hustlin'. I'm your host, Delu, aka StarGurl, here with Charlie the Trytone. Why don't you plug in your socials? Where can people find you?
Best way to support me is through our bike shop. It's Live for Bikes. At Live for Bikes, LIVE, the number 4 bikes. Liveforbikes.com. At Live for Bikes on Instagram, on TikTok. And then just buy some stuff from there. It goes directly to funding me and my Cosmo.
Oh yeah, and Cosmo. And then also you can connect with him on other music stuff too.
Yeah.
You've got your
my music.
stuff.
You can find my music on Spotify. It's Charlie the Trytone or Trytone TRYTON with the number 3. And if you want to listen to some of my tracks, they're on there.
TRYTON with a 3 at the N as the E. Okay. And you know us, we're Harmony and Hustlin' Podcast. Harmony. and Hustlin' Podcast. I can't believe I'm really saying that. At IG Harmony underscore Hustlin, HUSTLIN underscore podcast on IG. And then we're also on YouTube and soon to be on other platforms. But I'm really happy you guys came in. You guys came in today. I'm really happy we got to reshoot this and get it going good because now it was more, lively and cool. So I'm glad you came out and gave us free game, just like you said. And for people who want to become entrepreneurs or musicians, any advice for them? I didn't write that down, but you know.
Yeah, just I don't know, just try everything, make mistakes, fail often and fast. Just
You
try
heard
it.
it here, people fail.
Try
Failure
it.
is
Try
a
it.
lesson,
Just try it.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't. It's okay if you fail.
It's okay if you fail, you hit a brick wall, just don't give up, right?
Yeah.
Keep going. All right, well, that was another episode of Harmony and Hustlin' with AKA Trytone, AKA Charlie the Great. A reminder that with passion and persistence, you really can build your dream from the ground up. Whether you're pedaling through the business world or vibing through a beat, keep chasing that harmony and keep hustling. Thank you for listening. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.